feel like we're on the morning show.
I feel nervous.
So here we are back with new equipment. That we had to replace one that was like a lemon. And you'll have to tell us if it's working for you or not.
Let us know, y'all.
Yeah.
So Sally and Kristen with Gab and Gush from Farmhouse Fabrics. We love to talk sewing with y'all and go over the latest and the greatest that's been happening here at Farmhouse. So today we have for y'all, this would be like a spoiler alert, like turn us off if you don't want to see anything about this magazine, because a little later on we're going to be discussing the Summer 2022 Classic Sewing Magazine. We're highlighting this gorgeous dress by Charlotte Potter. We are going to talk about Sally's week 15 sew, and this is an
embellished silk organza, and mashed up a couple of patterns to make it work. And so we're going to discuss this.
Here, let's pull it forward.
All right.
What? It's weird. We have so much room. I don't have to.
That's right. So we'll talk a little bit about the pattern that I use. This is a little girl's size 4 pattern, and so the silk dupioni at the top and the embellished organza at the skirt. And so the whole way I'm thinking, how do we do this, and how do we do this, and how do we do this? So we'll talk a little bit later about the little lining part and how I added that. And
I want to talk right now. Why did you hand sew this hem?
Well, I'll show you. I'll just give you a little glimpse of this fabric. This skirt was a 2-yard cut. So I cut 2 yards. The way it's made is that the stripes are vertical. And when we ask for opinions, several of you suggested that we run the stripes vertically on the skirt. But because of the way this is made with these puffing strips, very hard to gather that part. And so we ended up gathering the skirt in this direction because it was much easier to gather. And so then I came down right below the, you know what, we could do let's see if the overhead works.
Yeah, here we go.
Does the overhead work? I trimmed the bottom of the skirt just about 3/8 of an inch below the puffing strip. And then later on I wished that I had trimmed it a little bit farther, but still it was okay. But then I couldn't decide how to finish it. And so I went looking around all through the shop, and I found, couldn't believe it, I found this silk organza that we have that is a cross woven, pink and green. And is it not perfect? And so I cut a 2-inch piece of the silk organza, folded it in half, and we're not still
normal
there.
already.
Okay,
Yeah.
Folded it in half and pressed it. And then right sides together, I sewed it right at the bottom of the little band. And then I turned it back like this, turned it under, and I did hand stitch it because I didn't want another stitch to be showing through the puffing strips.
Well, I feel like it would have changed the look of that. Like that it actually would have been noticeable if you had come up and cut into that again.
But the neat thing about it is, because it's very lightweight and it has a lot of body, it's almost like using a horsehair braid around a hem. And
wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then it ends up holding it out like this. And so I was really happy with the way that turned out. So we'll talk a little more about that, about the skirt later on.
So there is an awesome technique that Sally did for changing the. She used one of our Bouffant Slips that actually is a slip, so it's a dress.
Oh yeah, because we can show. You can see it has a low back.
So it would have shown, and so she actually took the slip and she
changed it up to make it almost like a half slip, but I didn't destroy it.
So now you can still use it as the dress slip and then also use it with this. Yeah. But so this week we got in the latest issue, and it's not to us yet for sale, is it?
What?
Is it in our shop yet?
No, we got the a shop copy. But I heard that they're out because I heard people are already talking about it. So I'm not too.
So we'll go online when we have it.
I'm not too nervous about sharing it because I think it's out there.
Right. Well, so we were so excited to see Charlotte Potter's dress on the cover here, and she used she used a beautiful Clooney lace set to create this, to finish it, I guess. She used an insertion in the round neck. And so how did she do all that? It's so pretty.
It is pretty. And then the front, the top portion of this has a lot of tucks, and it's beautiful. So it's a tiered garment. In fact, you know, tiered things are really hot right now, and you're going to find some real cute ones in here too.
But even like, so this is like a tone on tone type stuff. So you are not really seeing, but like when you have the magazine, you can see. Here, let me do the overhead, and we can show them this lace set.
Okay.
So here's the magazine, and right here you can see that she used an edging, like a small thin edging at each tier, top of the tier.
So here's a little 1/2 inch cotton Clooney edging right here, and was it showing?
Yeah,
it's showing. And then the neat thing about this, the Clooney, is that you can actually grab a hold of one of the threads and pull it, and you could shape this and use it like the insertion is curved around. So it's real pretty on there.
So that's like a thread in the header, right?
Yep, a thread in the header.
So it has a pull thread in the header that allows for gathering.
So you can curve it around and make the shaped yoke. So
I love that.
Really pretty.
We pulled out some possible coordinates here, because I'm gonna flip this back to the overhead. Y'all, we're so excited to be using our new gear. I can't stop looking upwards toward myself.
We're not supposed to be looking up there.
And then also we have the overhead capability, which you're gonna see us fumble through this, but we feel like the benefits of what you're getting from the overhead outweighs the awful
learning curve.
interjections, you know, between me and Sally having to communicate about it.
Just so you know, it is doing the glitch again, but it's not as bad.
Oh no, we're getting a glitch.
Something about the live stream, but we'll get it sorted.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're good to keep going.
We're glitching, y'all. Bear with us if you can.
If it really gets bad, then we'll have to
figure something else out.
Oh.
So this dress actually, so this is your spoiler alert. Here comes some more beautiful things from Charlotte Potter and the cover dress. Let me try to find it. Where is it? Okay, so let me flip to the overhead, because you can see that Charlotte also used this blue on white fabric finders fabric for another version of this dress, and it's so pretty. So we brought y'all a little bit different coordinates for y'all to see here. I love that.
I just happen to love this. This is a who is it by? I want to say Michael Miller. Well, shoot. Well, Riley Blake. This is a Riley Blake, and it's called Blue Bonnet Breeze. And
it would make
I
a
love
beautiful
this print.
dress,
It would be really pretty in that tiered dress, and it'd be pretty with white Clooney laces on it. Also, here's a nice edging that could go along the hem.
Oh, I didn't know she put it in the back of the dress. Y'all look at that.
It goes all the way around the yoke.
Oh, that is
Isn't that
so
pretty?
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
So over the shoulders and then to the back. Oh, that is so pretty.
It's really sweet.
Wow.
And so then this is a fabric finders blue and white that would be gorgeous with the white Clooney laces also. And this one is what number? 2338. This is Fabric Finders 2338 in this blue and white. So really gorgeous.
It is so pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So another dress that's featured in this Classic Sewing summer edition. I saw somebody at Sue Estes just said, she said, "Oh my goodness, y'all talked about this before my magazine came." So Connie Palmer, we actually had the pleasure of having Connie Palmer with this dress in store, and we showed y'all this last year. Man, I bet it's been over a year, wouldn't you think? So Connie did this awesome contrasting pleat technique, and she used the blue window pane fabric from Speckler Vogel, and one of our
she worked with Lizette on this. This is the Claire, originally published in 1981 by Children's Corner.
Did. Yes, that's right.
Uh-oh, what's the matter?
We zoomed out and could see the lights.
What?
I just wanted to zoom out.
Sorry, y'all. Okay, so yes, she did. She matched up with Lizette from Children's Corner.
That's right.
And for the Claire pattern, that's so pretty. So y'all, it feels so weird to be doing it with this new technology. We'll get there. I'm sorry. So I wanted to show you all the fabric. Let's go back to the overhead view here. And then Sally, will you tell us about these beautiful coordinates?
All right. This is a window pane from Speckler Vogel, and the number is 274. It's a Pima cotton. And then the little edging, this is a Swiss edging from Capital Imports, and that number is 70243. And so that is gathered.
This is my favorite edging.
I know it is.
I love it.
But look how pretty it looks with, this is also a Speckler Vogel eyelet, Swiss eyelet. But those beautiful open hole eyelets, so pretty.
I mean, the
like
quality is so pretty because
it's amazing.
There's no strings or rough edges.
And so I'm pretty sure that she went down. It's almost like in a stripe pattern, which it is. And so she went down the in order to the length of the fabric, and that put it right behind the pleat. And so
awesome.
she inserted that into the pleats. But you can do another kind of a contrasting fabric behind the pleats. You know what? I'm so sorry. I forget that.
Let's get back to our faces.
Okay.
Let's see what's up. Maybe we'll get
We're
oriented
struggling
here.
today.
Yeah.
We're struggling today.
So, what else do we have up here for today? I want to show y'all. So these are 2 new sibling sets. Christy and Hope have been coordinating beautiful sewing kits for us. So a sewing kit is everything that you need, like all the parts and pieces to create the look.
Except the pattern.
Except typically it does not include the pattern.
Right.
So this little dress has a wider eyelet to create this like faux bodice look, because this pattern doesn't even have a bodice, does it?
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't have a bodice? Okay. So
but that covers and then
like
hangs over the edge. Yes.
So but they used fabric coordinates from the same set to create
awesome
2 different
is this?
kits. I love it.
Isn't this cute?
Yes. So I'm gonna flip to the different screen so y'all can see these up close. So it is 2 different patterns here, but I love that they are
this is going to be Kimberly, right?
Yep.
And this it has a border, and then this is
Is it Ashley?
yeah,
It is
Ashley.
Ashley.
Both of them are Bonnie Blue patterns, and they're so cute. I've made both of these too a lot.
I mean, I love the sewing kits because I feel like it takes out the guessing of whether or not things coordinate. It's a pre-coordinated look, but to have like an already matching siblings set, I think that's really neat.
So the thread comes in here. If there's elastic, the elastic is included. Piping,
Lining,
lace,
you have interfacing.
that's right.
Suggested
Buttons,
places to use your
that's right.
interfacing.
That's right.
Yeah. Fun.
They're cute.
That is cute.
Yeah, they've been going goofy with the kits, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, I want to know more about your dress. This is your week 15. If y'all aren't familiar with the Sew Sally Sew Challenge, someone said that they were doing a weekly sewing challenge, and Sally hopped on in January. And so this is week 15, where she has created a garment a week or done some sort of sewing project.
There have been days or weeks that I might have been sorry I made that commitment, but then in the end, I'm always glad that I did it. I do want to show you. I did make the.
It's a commitment that you live out loud.
Yeah,
You can make a New Year's resolution, but
oh man,
now I feel like I really have
I'm
to.
not going to eat any dessert today. You got to live with it if you say it out loud. But if you didn't say it out loud, you can say, you know what, I never said it out loud.
Yeah, right. But that's like eating the dessert in front of everybody.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So this is a Simplicity pattern, a vintage pattern, 7157.
Oh, are you talking about?
I'm going to show the nightgown. Yeah. And so I made this just a simple little nightgown, and I didn't do it. I didn't put a drawstring at the neck, but I am going to put a bow here because I do like.
Ran elastic.
I did run elastic through, and they called for a facing, and I put a bias around there, and then ran elastic through the bias, and then I put a bias around the sleeves and put a little bit of off-white. English netting lace at the sleeves.
So this is a new cotton lawn for us, and it is a very airy, lightweight, 100% cotton print.
Yeah,
and it has like this subtle blue.
Well, the background is not really white. I thought it was white, but when I put it next to this white, I'm like, oh,
you can see that it's not. Yeah.
That does not look good.
Right.
So we have pre-made bias, 1.5 bias, and we have one in a champagne color, and so that's what I used. And it's a little darker than the fabric, but it looked better than the white, in my opinion. And so I sewed that on, top stitched everything because it's a nightgown. You know, you can do it really in a hurry. But the lace, let me tell you how I applied the lace.
Should I show it up close?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah. So this lace, and I don't have this way.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have the lace bolt with me, but I was able to. This is just straight on this edge, and so I actually finished the hem of this garment first. But this one I turned up a narrow edging and then turned it up again and top stitched it down. And so then I went back and I butted the straight edge of the lace next to the hem and did a tiny zigzag and zigzagged that on. And so I actually did the same thing. I did the same thing at the sleeve. I finished the armhole. Actually, I left the side seam open because I made everything as easy as possible. I left the side seam open and I put the bias tape around. You can see I edge stitched the bias tape before I sewed.
You can see she's remembering what she did.
Yeah,
As she
it's
looks
like,
at
well,
it.
what did I do here? I edge stitched the bias tape, pressed everything under, pressed the edge under, and then top stitched it down. And then went back again and just butted my straight edge of my lace next to my garment and did a tiny, tiny little zigzag to hold it on. Did the same thing around the neck. So it does not have to go in a seam. And I thought, hey, I bet this will work and it'll still gather up and look pretty. It's still like this because I need to try it on Ella and
Size
get
it.
size the elastic. But this was a really quick little nightgown, and you could do something like this with the Bonnie Blue Charlotte pattern and make a cute little nightgown. That'd
So-
be cute.
Oh, okay. So that
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah.
little different, but
So that was this little, the Bonnie Blue Charlotte has a
raglan.
raglan sleeve, and you could do a little, you could do just a flutter sleeve, and I've done that before for the nightgowns. And so that is fast, and it's getting hot here, believe it or not. We've been cold, and all of a sudden it's starting to heat up, and we can feel it, right? And so the girls are going to be wearing these lightweight nightgowns.
y'all, Sally's I want her to discuss every single part of this dress. I'm trying to break it up on purpose because there's so many interesting things that she did to complete this look. Like, for instance, I will very not thoroughly, she can come in and finish up here. But for this it's almost like a slip. For this lining, she had so much gathered in at the waist already because this is embroidered and you couldn't avoid the embroidery in order to gather it and sew it into the seam. So to not add bulk at the seam, she put in a flat panel here.
Well, it's not totally flat, but it's there's very much less fullness in this panel, and then I did my more fullness here in the big ruffle.
So by kind of creating almost like a yoke here,
Yeah, that's right.
She was able to gather it here more and add that fullness or add the bulk, but then put it in a place that didn't add it to this really heavy seam.
And now I haven't finished the final touch on the hem of the lining yet. But I serged around all my pieces even before I gathered, because silk dupioni can be a beast. I mean, it frays everywhere. There are threads everywhere.
If you walk towards the silk dupioni aisles, you actually walk away with strings on you.
Or
Like,
you
even
can
if you're not
trip
cutting
over
it,
them. And
can-
what Ariel
they are
say,
strong.
they can choke you to death. You know, if you have one around your neck, they don't break. Silk fibers are really, really strong.
So also another reason that she wanted to, because here you use the same width everything, and so technically this skirt is gathered, this lining is gathered as much as the top skirt.
No.
This is less of a gather.
Yeah, because this is more narrow. This is 2 yards, and this is maybe
Less.
yeah, it's a lot less. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a lot less.
But she needed the fullness of the lining to be able to help this fullness of the skirt. So that's why you added this ruffle in the first place.
Yeah. So here's another thing. The whole and as I'm working on it, I'm always thinking about these things. Usually when you put a lining in, you're not working with a sheer outside fabric. So this fabric, you can see through this fabric. And I did not want people to see the seam allowances on my lining part. So this time, instead of having...
So typically, you would have the lining and the fashion fabric, like the raw edges and everything would have met each other in the inside and they would have been hidden.
Yeah, and like this would have been the part that if you look down inside the dress, you would see this. This would be the part normally
Touching
that's
your
next
skin.
to your body. But I turned it the other way because that way...
When you look through this.
Yeah, like look at here. This looks messy. I didn't even trim this because this stuff frays so much. But I did serge the edges of all my pieces and then gathered and sewed them together. I didn't want this to be showing through the skirt. I only wanted it to just be green.
Which is what you accomplished
Yeah,
by flipping
yeah.
the lining the opposite way.
Yeah. And so then once we got it all made, I thought, this really isn't quite puffy enough. And Stephanie Dabbs from Little Beans Shop makes these kind of garments so often. And she's shown us what she's done by taking netting and gathering up netting and putting an extra layer, gathered netting here with an extra layer next to the body so it wouldn't scratch the child's skin.
But it gives that perfect full
I didn't
skirt.
feel like doing that. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm kind of running out of steam. But we do carry the Bouffant Slips, and I'll show you. This is a full slip, but Kristen and I were like putting our heads together. Why don't we just fold the bodice down on this slip?
Because this is awesome with all kinds of different dresses.
Right.
So you don't want to commit this purchase to only one dress.
Yeah.
Unless you want to. And then
Right.
you can just buy these up. But
I can
it
sew,
makes it reusable.
Yeah, sew some elastic. Either make a casing with this folded down and then run some elastic through, or just sew elastic to this and stretch the elastic and gather that up so it can go under the dress.
Because once the top of this slip is in the correct position again, up at the
You
top,
think she can get that on without getting caught on her legs? All of a sudden, I'm realizing that.
she can.
Yeah, she's tiny.
She's tiny. Yes. But that's a good point.
Yeah, because
it
look
might
at
have
here.
to either sit really high.
Yeah. We're gonna
keep
figure it out.
practicing with that one.
But even though this is so lightweight, all of this tiered, lightweight, layered stuff, and this is soft. This would not be scratchy. When you put it under
stacks
here,
on top of itself.
it makes it really pretty. But I'll tell you what really made it stand out. You almost don't need that slip. Was when I put that
Horsehair braid.
Yeah, it works just like horsehair braid. When I put that silk organza binding at the bottom, I could not believe that. That was amazing. Look at that.
Did we tell y'all? So Sally actually, she put two patterns together to create this look. So, and in reality, there was a third pattern, which is this made-up skirt that Sally totally didn't follow any directions on. But the front of the bodice is the Maria pattern by Vintage Little Lady. And we knew that this was a good fit for the child Sally was making the dress for. So you went with the front bodice for this. And
Well, then, and actually I pulled, because I like the length of Maria on Farron, the length was good, the bodice length. And so I pulled out the Molly, and I know I've made the Molly pattern many times, and I love that scoop neck for Molly. And so actually I laid, this needs a little pin here, but I laid the Molly pattern on, the Molly pattern on top of the Maria pattern, and I used the body of the Maria and the scoop neck back of the Molly. So Molly is Simple Life Pattern Company. Maria is Vintage Little Lady. And so
you have your pattern front and your pattern back.
and the bodice length from this. But also because it's a scoop back, it also cuts into the shoulder just a little bit from the front. So the front is a little more of a boat neckline, but I know.
I was wondering if you did that. So I guess you used this
I
line
used the neckline
to draw the front of Maria.
I did. I used the neckline.
Whew. That was a whole lot.
But the nice thing is I've already tried these on the girls and with other garments, and so I know how they work. But this Molly pattern is so adorable. I did all the girls' beach dresses over Molly one year.
I really like, and there are tasteful and not tasteful ways that you can show skin on your little babies. This is really one of my favorites because they feel older when you have something like this, and I like the way that they
But it's not
act,
too.
but it's not too showy.
It's not immodest.
Yeah, right.
But I'll tell you something. Pulling this lining through this little tiny strap was tricky. That's like, it would have been a lot easier in a size 8.
Yeah, right.
But it still came through.
Because look at that tiny little strap.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So in order to do this, I actually used baby interfacing and completely interfaced the outer fabric, and I lined it in the silk dupioni also. I lined it, and but I left the side seams open, and so I sewed up the back, around the neckline, and down the back, and then around each sleeve, and then I trimmed my seams, clipped the curves, and turned it right side out, pulled it through that little shoulder strap, and turned it right side out and pressed it, and then I sewed my side seams, so that worked out pretty well. So
we had someone on Instagram ask if you could explain how you use the silk organza for the binding.
yeah, I can explain how I use the silk organza for the binding. I can. In fact, I can show it.
So yesterday we were walking around the shop and we were trying to find a coordinate for this fabric, because she knew that she was going to have to bind it in order to hem it. So
yeah, or put a facing or something that wasn't too thick. Yeah.
And then also you don't want something showing through, because this is a sheer fabric.
Right.
So at first we kind of played with the idea of using the dupioni, but I guess it didn't work, and you were really looking for the organza.
Yeah, so I walked all around and I found, I'm like, hey, look at this stuff. This might be just the right thing. And I carried the fabrics around with me, and I thought, this is going to be good. So I cut 2-inch.
Here, you want to show them overhead?
Yeah, I can do that. And I'm going to put it on, show it on here. So I cut 2-inch bias strips. I cut these on the bias, which this is a bias line. This is the straight, 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 straight. But this is a bias. So I cut these on the bias so they have give. And then I sewed sewed the strips together, pressed the seams open. Then press that in half. And you know what? I didn't use my rotary cutter and my ruler. I just guessed. So I don't advise that. I think you shouldn't do that. Right?
But she's never ever going to cut
do that.
bias.
Don't do that. And so then I sewed through the double thickness of my bias, and this is what I did. I put right sides together with my skirt, and I stitched maybe a 1/4 inch seam, and then pressed it toward the edge like this. Can they see it?
You're right.
Yeah.
Right where it should be.
All right, and then I turned that under. And you can see just a little bit of the binding. I didn't really want to do it that way, but I didn't leave enough of a seam allowance down here, but it still looked fine to me. And then I came back here on the inside and I hand whipped it down, so it's like a little facing or a little edge. And that really worked great. So I'm thinking you could do anything, even white, with a silk organza, and it can create this
horsehair braid.
I love that. Yeah, because you can't find horsehair braid in this green color.
Well, and for it to be lightweight.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lightweight look.
So we're all trying to decide, and I'm not sure which way we're going to go, but whether or not it needs any kind of a...
Y'all help us with this, if you would.
Any kind of a sash or anything like that.
So what we keep talking about is, this is a very busy, loud fabric. And then we went on and added silk dupioni with it. It's scoop backed. It has all these touches.
What if you had this?
It's like you can't add enough to this dress. It still is looking pretty.
So maybe we'll do a sash. It's very
I like
lightweight,
it.
and I think it'll be cute.
So she sewed this for my daughter, and it's Sally's granddaughter, and she's 4 years old, and she is not like bribable, or I mean, she's on her own.
If she doesn't like it, it's not going to be a good thing.
So she came in and saw this dress, and she actually hugged it on the mannequin.
She's like, put her arms around it like that. It
Yeah.
was so cute.
So I'm thinking it's going to be great
Yeah,
for
I
her.
think so.
And the bigger the better with her.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
So is that all? We have the drawing for today. We showed our lace sets. Oh, I wanted to show y'all with this lace set. Let's grab this. So it has 3 different coordinates. Actually, it has 4. I'm going to switch the overhead again. So Sally, this is what I wanted to ask you. So this is an edging, and this is like a narrow edging, maybe a 1/2 inch. It almost looks less than that. And then you have this little bit wider edging, which I'm familiar with these. This reminds me of a galloon because it has the 2 finished edges.
Yeah, and it is a little more scallopy there, but you can still pull it up and insert it like a...
But this set also, this looks a
Right.
little lighter, but this is also the insertion that goes with this set.
But I'm not sure that this one...
Let me show y'all. Oh, sorry, Sally. I'm going to try to show them the Charlotte Potter dress, because you can see Charlotte actually used this like an insertion.
See, I don't think
whenever
you can pull a thread on this one.
whenever I was getting this out, I thought, is that a galloon? So a galloon has 2 finished edges versus you can see this insertion has 2 straight edges. So I was wondering.
But
Because
when
it has the header.
Yeah, you can definitely shape it to go around the yoke. You can shape that, and then that can be sewn on. That can be zigzagged on.
Oh, which made it perfect to
See,
shape it.
it's got to go shaped. It's got to be shaped around that yoke. But that would be fine zigzagged on there. It's not exactly that one, but it would work.
Right.
It would definitely work.
Oh, that's interesting.
We have some more coming in too, and I think they're going to be cute.
Awesome.
So, we'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
So we do a drawing every Tuesday and Friday during our live Gab and Gush. And today we are going to draw to see who won.
Hey, you know what?
What's that?
Let's show this because I worked really hard to cut these things out.
Okay, let's draw and then we'll show it.
Okay.
Where's your names? Do we have them under here?
Yeah.
People are loving the idea of the sash.
Oh, you like the sash idea? Thank
And
you.
he said maybe a sash in the pink from the skirt.
Ooh.
I know somebody else suggested that, but you think I'm going to be able to find that color around here? It's like,
She might be locked out.
ladies.
Yeah.
I've been looking through every possible bin, and I'm like, look what I found. Something that might work. Actually, I was looking for pink buttons that were kind of glitzy, that might work on the
I
back.
could use a fancy button, I
Yeah,
think.
but if we do a big sash, the button won't matter so much.
That's true. There's so many decisions.
Yeah.
So, this week or today's giveaway, what was it? National Gardener's Day or something?
Yes, look at this cool thing we found. I love this. Mostly I like this picture. Like I'm never really
Never
gonna do
ever
this.
going to do that.
Yeah.
Actually,
But
when Sally went to Australia, how many years ago? Maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
She finished her 5th son's
cross stitch.
cross stitch. So he was like 35 at the time.
Yeah.
And so
Yep, I started it in 1985,
it's more than I've finished. Though,
and
so.
it was almost finished. I mean, just had like one more line to go, and I came across it, and I thought, you know what, I need to finish this for Daniel. So we had a nice little chat with my son in Australia this morning. They were getting ready for bed, and we're like, you know what, my granddaughter there just turned 2 years old. Her name is Rosemary. And so it was really fun to see Rosemary and Daniel and Sarah, and her big brother is James. And he said, Rosemary is starting to stick up for herself. It sounds a lot like baby June and Farron. And he said, she can give
Hold her own,
Oh
right?
yeah, she's starting to hold her own. And so he doesn't really like that so much, but they were pretty cute. So we haven't seen them in 2 years, and I've never seen my granddaughter Rosemary. So made me sad. I've been crying today. I might do it now.
COVID happened and Sally was on the way to Australia. So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining our giveaways. We enjoy that. We're gonna show y'all these really cool. Sally found in an estate sale a pre-pleated collar. Let me
Oh,
draw
after
this.
we draw a name.
Yep. So, Rebecca Stringer says, "What a wonderful garden giveaway!"
There we go.
So awesome! Congratulations.
We did show you this. This little collar is a pre-pleated. And let's see, I'm going to pull my act together here. And I actually wanted to sew one of these up, but I got busy sewing this dress and I didn't do it.
Well, let's show them overhead now because then they can really see
All
it.
right. So this is from an estate sale. And so this band, I measured that. This band is about 12 and a half or 13 inches. And so that's shaped into a neckline. And so we had this wonderful cotton fabric.
So how cool is this, y'all? Look at as Sally goes and opens this, because the way these pre-pleated fabrics come to us is there's actually a paper on the front and back of the pleating. Man, it's even hard to see where's what in these. But I mean, really.
Yeah.
But then it also has a straight piece of paper. Half of y'all's job of doing the collar is opening up this paper piece. Goodness gracious. Okay.
Pull that one off.
So y'all can see that here is paper, and then here is the fabric. And then on the other side, there's also paper together. So that's how they set in the pleats.
Hey, I really did use a rotary cutter and a and a ruler when I did this. I didn't just eyeball it like I do my own stuff. But I thought,
this is
isn't
the
this neat?
first pre-pleated that came to us that was actually cotton.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip us back overhead.
Okay, all right.
Most of the stuff that comes in the pre-pleated is actually, it's like a blend, a polyester cotton blend.
Or one was a netting that was like a polyester netting that was really, really pretty. But I think the way you'd have to do this, well, first of all, I was looking at this, and they did finish the edge. So if you wanted to make this into a collar, you would finish the back edge on each side. And then maybe run a gathering thread and pull it up with your lace shaping board to get it to where it needs to go.
Let's show them. Let's do that again.
Okay.
So you'd run a gathering thread up at the one side.
Run a gathering thread at on one side, and then you'd want to shape it maybe on your lace shaping board. I cut this wider than the original collar, and
so even though it's not on the bias, it's got that turn because it's pleated.
But you would put a bias neckband on there. You'd have to put a bias neckband on there, and so this would just have a piece of lace attached here, and then you have a collar.
Voila.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat. I love that. All right, so we are going to be practicing maybe in short little clips to try to get better hang of this. We're so excited to be able to offer this new overhead capability, but it is kind of disorienting. So thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing y'all after Easter. We hope y'all have a wonderful Easter holiday.
Yeah, I hope so.
And that, it's a blessed weekend for y'all.
It is, yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, bye.